what you gotta do.
When I tell you guys that it is time for Africa, best believe it is, especially for African storytellers. Now Netflix and UNESCO have partnered on a project dubbed African Folktales Reimagined. And for that reason, I am here at the KICC for the launch of these folktales that have been reimagined by 6 African filmmakers from different countries, from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, South Africa, and Mauritania. And we are here to just get to talk to them and also get to find out everything about this particular project. Let's get into it. Filmmakers, thespians, as well as stakeholders in the film industry converged at the KICC last week for a trailblazing evening. Netflix and UNESCO were officially launching the African Folktales Reimagined. 6 bold African folktales were boldly reimagined in this multilingual anthology series exploring themes of grief, love, and mysticism.
My film, Mamlambo, is a folktale I grew up hearing from my grandfather as a child. It was the only film or folktale that had a woman at the center of it. And I found that quite ironic. And she was also kind of like vilified. She was very much a villain. So I kind of wanted to figure out a way to kind of create a different narrative and a different approach to that. And that's what I did.
My story is about value, the value society places on women, and the value women place on themselves as a result, and what they're willing to keep up with as a result of that value.
Katope is a story that I've commonly found out it's been passed down through East Africa. My mother heard it from her great-grandmother and or her grandmother and passed it down to me. So by the time the Netflix competition came about, I felt like Katope was a story that resonated with me because it talked about individualism and how to fit into a community. And just balancing that line of what it is to be you within a space.
Halima's Choice is about a young girl being forced into marriage by her parents. It sets in the future where most people in the world have uploaded themselves into a virtual world. And just a few people are left, and one of the few people left are this Fulani community where this girl is from. So she meets a stranger who gives her a look, basically, into this other world, and so it becomes an option for her, instead of this forced marriage. So the question is, what does she decide to do?
In 2021, Netflix and UNESCO put up a short film competition named African Folktales Reimagined to support young African filmmakers.
What we're trying to showcase is how the creativity in Africa is alive and kicking, and how important it is to give also some opportunity to young generation, to young storytellers and filmmakers, to produce, to showcase what are the difference and the diversity of the culture in Africa.
The competition ran across sub-Saharan Africa, and they received over 2,000 applications from 13 countries. They finally narrowed down to 6 winners who were provided with resources including a $90,000 budget, as well as creative guidance by established filmmakers who acted as their mentors to bring their stories to life.
Inazidi kupigania haki za wanawake wasio na mabwana kujumuishwa katika eneo la Blue Zone.
The 6 emerging storytellers are from across the continent, from Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Nigeria, South Africa, and Mauritania.
I mean, I started with the Machakos Film Festival, and that encouraged me a lot to continue because we won first prize, and that was like, I'm in the right space.
It was really crazy because I think even in the pitching sessions, like just speaking to the other contestants, like it almost felt like they had done a lot of things. They felt a little bit more seasoned than myself, so I didn't really back myself, to be honest. I felt kind of younger and a little less established. So it was a very big shock. I was also the first person to present out of the 21 people when we were pitching, so I really thought I'd be forgettable. So it was kind of like very affirming that I was remembered and I was chosen, and yeah, that was the journey.
I have only been making films for 4 years, but then having this opportunity, it feels like I started almost at the top, which is amazing. I feel pretty blessed and lucky to have had this opportunity so soon.
The short films are officially on Netflix, and it is such a delight to see African folktales being told as reimagined by African storytellers. Be sure to watch the 6 stories.
As a young filmmaker myself, I thought that all I needed to do was write a script and I'm going to make it on Netflix, I'm going to be the next big thing. But it doesn't work like that. You need to really take your time, learning your craft, improving on your craft. And yeah, with the perfect timing, things will happen.
And no matter where you are in the world, just as long as you're specific to what you're telling, people will resonate with it. And they'll find ways to connect to that story. So it wasn't actually too difficult because they saw how the story connected with me.
Man, I feel like we're going this way. It's just higher and higher and higher. I'm so proud of the industry. I've been here 10 years. I'm always telling people it's the best time in the industry so far. So I'm so proud of where the industry is, and it's just like above and above and above. So I'm also really happy to see short films getting center stage.
I mean, we have always told our stories. I mean, we've had film industries even before Netflix came, even if they were not as developed as they are right now. But I think the key thing is that right now we have the opportunity to do it on a much bigger scale, which is what is exciting about it. I mean, this has been a long time coming, but yeah, it's exciting, the scale of it all.
We're a growing industry, like in Africa as a whole, one step at a time. I think the quality of the films definitely are growing in such a beautiful way. And the richness of the storytelling is also developing as well. And things like this also make it a little bit more accessible, a little bit more easier to be open about the stories that you want to tell. If briefs like this exist and funding for them is there, I think we can only soar.
We are in discussions, not only for Africa, but for other regions in the world, developing countries also. But we wanted to see how it will see in the results. And now we are here looking at it, hoping that the reception of everything that we have worked will be very well received, and also that it's opened new doors also for young filmmakers in Africa, for Africa and the world.